Good evening and welcome to the November 18th meeting of the Spatankilly Union Free School District Board of Education. I'd ask that you rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 2.01 is comments from the public on consent agenda items only. Do we have any public comment on consent agenda items? Can you all hear me out there? Yeah? Okay. Any board discussion on the consent agenda?
I had a question on 3.12, the budget transfer for the high school water damage.
Okay, we can pull that one out. Anybody else?
I have a question for 3.11 and 3.18.
3.18, I'm sorry?
Yes, 3.11 and 3.18.
Okay. Richard, felt like you had something?
No, it's nothing important.
Okay. So, first I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda less items 3.11, 3.12, and 3.18.
So
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it passes 5-0. Okay, Joanne, you want to start 3.12?
Yeah, so my question was, there's a budget transfer for the $21,804.93. What was the total cost of that repair? What was covered by the insurance, and why was there a leftover balance for us?
That wasn't a leftover balance for us. That transfer reflects damages that had to be paid for that the insurance did not cover.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
is there a reason the insurance didn't cover it?
It was labeled for them as incidental damage. It wasn't in the room where the actual leak was, but it was in the adjacent room where we had to remove tiles, ceiling tiles, so we had to remove ceiling tiles from the entire suite in order to repair the damage.
Okay.
For 3.11, one's a clarification, one's a question. It says approve the transfer of a total of $61,000 from the operation plant equipment account and the maintenance of plant equipment account. Is $61,000 from both accounts, or
No,
$61,000
in total. In total.
For that, is there a reason we're doing a transfer on it instead of a repair reserve fund or a cap project down the future?
It was a replacement of new lights, so it would qualify as a repair reserve. And we're just doing a transfer so it's reflected in the proper account.
Okay. It's not something that we're looking down the road for a cap project on the auditorium?
What we did was when we evaluated what needed to be done, we ensured that this would still be usable and in place even if we did a capital project down the road. So it's not anything that's going to have to be redone or is going to be redundant.
It was sort of an emergency that the lights wouldn't work properly and, get that done. But we wanted to make sure it would match with anything that we would learn from the needs assessment. And it does. But, we didn't have much choice with either the amp or the lights because it typically.
Okay. That makes sense. More of an emergency than okay. And for 3.18, probably just kind of, actually I just don't know. The difference between a teacher's aide and a teacher's assistant?
Sure. So the aide position, they can't do instruction with the students. It's more of like helping with staying on task, refocusing, sometimes toileting. Or with the teaching assistant, they can work under the supervision of the teacher. So the needs of the students have changed in that class to reflect more of a instructional need than more of a refocusing need.
And from what I got from Dr. Panueli on this was we had a teacher's aide that had that isn't with us now, and we're going to get a teacher's assistant instead. Is this replacing that teacher's aide position
Yes.
completely? So it's just getting rid of teacher's aide position and we're getting the teacher's
Right,
assistant position?
right, like recategorizing it, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to accept 3.11.
So,
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye, passes 5-0. We have a motion to accept 3.12. Do
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to accept 3.18.
So moved.
I think Sasha got
Yeah.
that one. Do I have a second?
Second.
Joanne, all in favor?
Aye.
That passes 5-0. Okay, that brings us to item 6.01. Recognition by the New York State Board of Regents for academic excellence.
And you want to introduce and we'll show the video, or would you like me to? I can give a. So we were alerted, Mary, what was this, back last school year, that Speck Eagle High School was nominated with an honor. That's really one of the best honors you could have. So it's called, it used to go the Blue Ribbon Commission, and it was Blue Ribbon Award, and it's given to schools throughout the nation. It was sponsored by the U.S. Department of Education, and it's been going on for years. In Dutchess County, I think on one hand, schools have won it. I do not know any high schools that have ever won it in Dutchess County, except for Spectacular about 7 or 8 years ago, in 2018. So when we got the news, it was very exciting. Very rigorous application process. Ken was very helpful in that, and Steve, now that she's now retired, was very helpful. Mary, who's over here, Lori, very helpful putting all that together. And it was nice, and it was, we were going to win. And when you win, you get invited to Washington, D.C., and it's a whole big, nice thing. Unfortunately, which we'll probably learn in a quick video here, the U.S. Department of Education is under reconstruction or deconstruction, whatever you want to say, and they canceled the award process end of August. So we found out maybe in the beginning of September that they weren't going to do that. Usually around September you find out the plans, but the New York State Board of Regents took it upon themselves to really honor the New York schools that were honored. And we're here tonight to kind of talk about that and show what it is. So we have a short video that probably explains even better than what I just said, or at least will supplement it. So we'll watch that, and then we'll turn it over to Mr. Lewis and a lot of the audience here to really celebrate this accomplishment.
So good morning, Chancellor Young, Commissioner Rosa, members of the Board of Regents. Good morning. Oh, see, that's what I was waiting for. Not the slides, I was waiting for you. So, as many of you know, the National Blue Ribbon Schools Program, which was established in 1982, has recognized over 9,000 schools nationwide and over 800 schools right here in New York for overall academic excellence and progress in closing the achievement gap. It's long been one of the most visible and respected federal honors for schools across the United States. And each year, the New York State Education Department identifies potential candidates through a data-driven process using student performance and graduation outcomes. Schools are ranked by the Office of Information and Reporting Services, vetted by multiple program offices, including special education, bilingual education, state assessment, and the charter school office for final certification. So as they're getting the slide deck up, many of you know, unfortunately, in late August, the U.S. Department of Education abruptly and without notice or consultation informed all state education agencies, including ours, that it was formally discontinuing the National Blue Ribbon Schools program, effective immediately. Prior to the program's cancellation, the commissioner had already submitted the formal nominations for 19 incredible schools and sent out congratulatory materials. The 19 schools that the state education department nominated also had already completed the federal government's time-intensive and detailed application and pulled together voluminous supporting materials, and the U.S. Department of Education had indicated that these schools would be honored this fall. Unfortunately, that did not come to pass. We share in the regret of school leaders, educators, and families, many of whom are watching today via webcast, who work diligently on their application and who work so hard day in and day out to support our students. The State Education Department, along with many of the nominated schools and their districts, expressed that disappointment publicly and directly to the federal government. Despite this, the work of the incredibly dedicated and talented educators and students here in New York continues and serves as an exemplar nationally and across the globe. In fact, at a recent CCSSO meeting, conference out west, the Senior Deputy Commissioner told me that many states are eagerly watching how our schools implement New York Inspires and are in awe how far our schools have already come. Despite the cancellation of the Blue Ribbon Schools program, New York State remains committed to recognizing the achievements of these schools and others. State Ed is currently working on how we can continue to recognize the exemplary work of our schools moving forward, and we'll have more news in the future after consulting with schools and other stakeholders. So in front of you today, all of you have a handout, and on the screen is a full list of the 19 schools nominated this academic year for Blue Ribbons, representing district and charter schools across every corner of the state. Although I will say Regent Ferrer and Regent Thomas Williams certainly have their fair share of schools on that list. In your materials, and soon to be posted on the Regent's website, is a photograph and language that we worked with each of these schools to put together. It represents what makes their school community unique and responsive to students, families, and of course, the communities that they serve. These schools embody what's best about New York education: academic excellence, innovation, equity, and opportunity for every student. So while federal recognition and support have been withdrawn, New York State will not allow this moment of excellence to go uncelebrated, or the accomplishments of these schools and all schools across New York to be diminished by Washington. On behalf of Commissioner Rosa and the entire State Education Department, we recognize these schools, their teachers, their students, leaders, and of course, families and communities for achieving the highest levels, and we reaffirm our commitment to celebrating the success across all of our schools and for all of our students. Thank you, Chancellor and members of the board, for taking this moment to honor these schools today.
I just want to add something here. In the past, I've been privileged to go to all of the schools that have been nominated and won this award in the past. And the schools themselves usually have a wonderful celebration, because they should. This is a tremendous amount of work that goes into the application and the process that it takes from a school to win this award. I would hope that the schools themselves might continue their celebration of the great work that they've done by having a day or a celebration, assemblies, and invite the regents from that area to join in, because it's a significant achievement that they need to celebrate. Thank you.
And we will be giving each of these schools a certificate, so they'll be sent out shortly. So they'll also have something formal that recognizes that they were one of the nominees.
So that ending is all true. On December 1st, Regent Wills will be coming to Spackenkill. Board is invited. We'll send out more information. It's a Monday. It's 10 a.m. And she's going to take a tour of the high school, and if she has time, we're going to take her to another school or so. She is a regent that represents our geographic area. She's been amazing regent. I know her personally, and she's done a lot for our area, so she was very excited and wanted to come. So we'll be following their advice. Mr. Lewis, you want to take over?
Sure. It's gonna. I'm getting feedback. Oh, you can leave it. I'll try to.
I can do this.
No pressure, but any students, I would love for you to come up here and join me because it's really about you.
Come on, students, come up. You know, the teachers are welcome to come up too. I know how much they like the limelight. I mean that you don't, but we'll make them come up. Come on up, teachers.
I'm going to speak about you, yes, but if you just want to come too.
Come on, Roberto.
Over here.
I think I'm going to hear about that one in the morning.
All right, as principal of Spackenkill High School, I am incredibly proud to recognize our school for earning the National Blue Ribbon Award. This achievement is more than a distinction. It is a reflection of the heart and dedication and pride that define our entire school community. Every day, our students, teachers, staff, families, and supporters demonstrate what it means to strive for excellence, and this award celebrates all of those collective efforts. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to all of the stakeholders involved who continue to believe and support the work that we do at Spackenkill. Your partnership truly strengthens our school, and this honor is something that we share with each of you. I'd also like to personally thank Dr. Fanueli, Dr. Mulford, Mr. Farrell for their steady leadership and commitment throughout this process. A very heartfelt acknowledgement to all the teachers in this room and in the building, especially the students, and also I want to acknowledge Mr. Malkisher for all of his exceptional effort and persistence in making this nomination possible. Our staff's dedication has been instrumental, and I'm sincerely grateful for the time and care they've invested in this achievement. Congratulations to our entire Spackenkill community. It is a privilege to serve as your principal, and I could not be prouder of what we've accomplished together here. 19 schools, and I think that's really important to recognize, 19 schools in the whole state. And I always say Spackenkill is not a utopia, we're not perfect, but we really strive for excellence, and I think we do a great job, and this is one of those moments that we can recognize that. And you know, really, students, you're the reason for this award, so thank you all for being here, especially the ones that are here. Thank you.
We have a couple people that want to say a few words also. Ms. Serena?
Thank you so much for inviting us tonight, Superintendent Fanueli. This is simply amazing, and it's really a testament to the families, the teachers, the students who really go above and beyond. In fact, Senator and I just left Boardman Road library where some of your students and one of your teachers is here that won our recycling art challenge. So that was pretty amazing. And I have to just give a shout out to Caroline Sotile, who has the voice of an angel and does so much for us too. So thank you. But and when you think about it, this is what you're only one of 19 schools across the state. But I think what's even more amazing is you've earned it twice. That's wonderful. And it's kind of disappointing if I heard, it was hard to hear, if they were canceling this Blue, that's a shame, right? Because this gives so many kids, teachers, everybody, families, such incentives. So I just want to say thank you very much to everybody. So tonight I congratulate all the Spackenkill High School students, the whole team, teachers, administration, faculty, and staff on carrying on its proud tradition of excellence and leadership. But I will just read this in the 2025 ratings. The Spackenkill Union Free School District, ranked #1 among Dutchess County school districts, received an overall grade of A and placed in the top 3%, that's huge, of more than 10,000 districts nationwide. So very impressive, everybody. Thanks for all your hard work, and I have a proclamation for you, Dr. Fanuelli. So I will leave it here, maybe, or do you want to come up, or Principal? Oops, here we go. Well, you know, I think we're going to take a picture together. Is that all right? Sorry. Here we go. Students? Students looking. Oh, come on, guys. Students looking. Yeah, it's all about you guys. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to leave this with you. Thank you. Great job. Anita, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good job. Do you have another speaker?
So I have to tell you, I am of course thrilled to be here as a Spackenkill alum, and I was telling the superintendent shortly after arrival, about 2 weeks ago, out of nowhere, I found this pin, which I never knew that I had. It is officially designating me as someone who went to Spackenkill. And as some of you may know,
Students will be getting that pin when they graduate.
wow. And I know you're going to wear it with pride. I mean, it took me since 1976 to 2 weeks ago to wear it. But I'm glad I'm wearing it. I am absolutely glad I'm wearing it. Of course, you know, a proud Spackenkill alum, always a Spartan, always. I grew up in this community. I was a cop in this community. And, you know, my wife said, just have a little fun today. So I was telling her that I was going to the school board meeting to present this Senate proclamation on this unbelievably well-deserved award on excellence. And she said like this, she said, well, Rob, you know, based on your report card in 1976, of course they went up. And I said to her, I said, well, you know, I mean, I get that because I really wasn't a great student. And but many of you know the education that I got here at Spackenkill has helped me do all the things that I've been able to do. Without that, it probably would have never happened. And if I wasn't part of Spackenkill, I wouldn't have been a fireman. I wouldn't have been a town cop. And then having a career as an elected official would not have happened without the Spackenkill School District. And being the first class that went through the high school for 4 years, we started in 9th grade and we went all the way through. We were the first to do all 4 years there. So as the county executive said, you know, shame on the federal government, shame on whatever reason that they found not to continue to do what they're doing there. But that gave us the opportunity to do something here for you. This is an official Senate proclamation that is prepared in Albany. And we only get a few per year to do. And this one was done with pride, to be able to give it to the school district that I love. And I'll say there's a bunch of different whereases, of course. And they talk about as at the Board of Regents meeting on November 3rd in Albany that Spangell High School was recognized as an exemplary high-performing school, informally known as the National Blue Ribbon Schools Program. It is the only school in Dutchess County one of 19 statewide to earn this distinction. And then it's the second time, which is a really big accomplishment, that Spankill High School has qualified for this prestigious award. And it's only high school in Dutchess County to have done that twice. Lots of big things happening here in Spackenkill. I give the credit to, of course, our students, the staff, the teachers, but to the Board of Education for making sure that you're giving the resources to the school district to educate our children, who of course are, we always say this, but it's so true, the future of our communities and our country. So thank you. Mr. Lewis, this is for you. Mr. Superintendent, please.
Can I get one too? I'm going away. Sorry, I'm trying to stare at your camera. Thank you. There's more.
Thank you very much.
Yes, of course.
So Rob, you're going to tell us, we have a lot of students here who don't know that we didn't have the high school without your father. You want to say something about that?
Well, just briefly, there was a point in time where Spangkill wanted to build a high school, and there were issues related to with the state. And my dad, who actually served in this capacity like I am, was the senator in 1967. Yeah, so we're good. That's got the story down. So my dad passed away in 2007, and passed away suddenly. But prior to that, they named the library after my dad. There's a plaque there.
What is that platform?
Yeah. And so it really was a great honor for my dad, who was a person not ever seeking honors or recognition per se. So we go there in 2007, and my son, who I think was 14 or 15 at the time, my sister Ann, who went to Spackenkill, who was a very good student, who graduated in, I think, 82. I was 76, she was 82. So she was up from Virginia, and my morning was there, of course, and so they're doing this for my dad, and my dad says, he says, you know what, Rob, he says, one of the greatest things about this is that I know now actually you were physically present inside this library. Like that day. At least one day you were actually in the library. And I said to him, I said, Dad, that really isn't accurate, because I said, Miss Harkins was the school librarian when I was there. So obviously I had to be in there maybe twice. But really, just so great. Appreciate all the hard work that you do, because as Mr. Lewis said, this would not happen if the students were doing the work and making that distinction. So the Board of Regents could say. And, maybe because part of education, we're going to recognize that too as well as this year. Thank you. I appreciate all of it.
So I can just say, and stealing thunder again, that the class of 74-75 raised $16,000 for the high school. And the third graduating class, 1976, coming right up.
I think he's hoping for it.
Oh, you're still looking for some change. Well, so we're supposed, and I don't know what's happening, but we'll be celebrating 50 years next year. And there hasn't been a lot of chatter on a reunion.
Who better than you?
Billy Taylor, Debbie Brown, I could go right on down the list. Steve O'Shea. But if we do have it, we'll make sure we do raise a little money for the school. Yeah.
Everybody heard that?
Challenging game on, I guess, right? Oh my God. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah. Thank you.
Teachers, thank you so much.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it, bud.
Rob,
how
nice was the if you like, but now, since you're standing, would be a good time. Mr. Lewis is going to facilitate a picture outside, and then feel free to come back in the office so everyone can get in the picture. We're going to continue with the meeting. but then you can come back in.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the meeting.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, yeah. Yes.
Dan, you'll go on. Dan, you'll go on with our
What's up with this?
I was doing our international dinner.
Oh.
So that's my.
I thought it was Halloween, so I'm like, Mr. D, you're late. You never know. Yes. They were cooking today. Forgot like they're not. Yeah. She's so kind. What's the first graduating class? Like it's fine. Take care.
I know.
Right from the kitchen.
You go from blue ribbon. You go from blue ribbon to middle school.
Grade
I think officially I have to say, we move on to item 6.02.
All right, here we go.
We're there.
Well, good evening, everybody. As always, it's great to be here. As you can see, we did not get the blue ribbon. However, Todd Middle School is right now, as we speak, having our World Language International Dinner. So I was one of the servers along with the entire World Language Department from the middle and high school. And it is an event that we were doing every year, and then we had the pandemic, and we did it, I think, 2 years ago, but we're trying to get back into the swing. We used to do it in the spring, and actually I like it better in the fall. It's kind of a nice get-together. It's cold and dark, and so we had foods from all over the world. Basically, almost every continent was represented, and I'm still eating my dessert here, and it was just a great event. So when I told Dr. Fanuelli that, well, first I asked if we could do it the same night as a board meeting, and he gave the approval, and then I asked, could I, because as you know, we present every board meeting. I said, if it's okay with you, I'll present on the international dinner, so I just figured I'd leave my apron on, and I come. So anyway, it's a great event, and if some of the board members and Dr. Fanuelli were able to swing in for a little bit, so they saw it. There was, I counted about over 30 dishes, and also probably about half a dozen to 10 desserts. It is just the 8th grade, so as you probably are aware, the 8th graders they receive a high school credit at the end of their world language, either Spanish 1 or French 1. So it's a bit of just kind of like all the hard work they put in, because they started their world language in 6th grade, which is it's 2.5 years. It's a long time because they do it every other day in 6th grade. I think we're one of the only, or maybe the only school district in Dutchess County that has a 6th grade world language. Most of the time it just starts in 7th. So we're proud of that, and we're proud of the World Language Department. And that's my report. Good. If you want to swing, I don't know if it ends soon, we can swing down there and see something. So thank you. Anybody has any questions? Or?
Thank you for doing it. I went down there before. It was quite the spread all the way wrapped around the whole cafeteria. That was and a good turnout too. It was a lot of nice dishes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and everybody mingling and stuff. It's nice. Maybe some music. And I was missing that, but I think they're doing some trivia over there now and stuff. A couple games and stuff. So
nice. Looks great. Looks great. Good to see.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be quick, I promise. So this is the posting that went out on the state for the Blue Ribbon Award. So you can actually pull that up on the state website, and we are recognized there and acknowledged. So thank you, everybody, for supporting, and thank you to the staff, and the students, and the families that came here tonight. I just wanted to highlight a couple things that have gone on in the last month or so at school. So you'll see a little bit of a collage as I talk about some of the events. I can try to point out some of the pictures. Just as far as our AVID program, we have a quarter one newsletter and some of those highlights. Excuse me. We have an AVID mentor meeting running at Hagen. We did a PD with the staff at our extended faculty meeting, which is in that center bottom picture, increasing collaboration through inquiry, and we had our AVID students participate in that professional development, and we'll continue doing that throughout the school year. The staff is introduced to some AVID strategies, and the students also get to experience working with professionals in that setting, which they wouldn't really do outside of this opportunity as in a faculty meeting. We've had speakers from Beta Bionics, HR professionals, Dutchess County Youth Council, COO of Bellwether, and Angels of Light, which I know Ms. Moy is spearheading a program with Angels of Light and AVID. I'm not going to put you on the spot right now to talk about it, but AVID program student of the quarter, Dylan Wallace, want to shout out to him. That's 7 through 12, and our Spackenkill High School student of the quarter, Savannah Hargrove. Congratulations to them. We celebrated them on Monday. We had the Shirt Off My Back tradition, and NHS wear a pink day for breast cancer awareness. So the Shirt Off My Back tradition is up in the top right-hand corner for our varsity football players who give their jersey on senior night to a staff member in the building that has that they've felt a personal connection to.
Some of those staff members here tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And we're still here, right? We had our 5th annual college essay boot camp on October 8th. Approximately 25 seniors attended. Miss Oakley and Miss Chevrolet happened to be here. They run part of that along with other English teachers. They received feedback from the English department, and they're now ready to revise and submit applications, which actually just happened for early decision in November. NHS created greeting cards to send to a recent Spackenkill High School graduates who completed basic training. They also had successful Socktober, where they partnered with Hope on a Mission to bring clothing to shelters in the country. Our Positivity Club provided and served breakfast on Saturday, November 8th for Hope on a Mission. Radium Girls was a hit. Awesome job. Congratulations on that play. We have James's Warriors coming tomorrow for our high school staff. In the bottom right-hand corner, I just wanted to feature some things that our teachers are doing. Ms. Franzik conducted a fish printing exercise in Principles of Physical Science. They practiced Goyataku, which is Japanese art of fish printing, and the students made their own, and then they created a bulletin board in the classroom, which is still up right now. In the top middle is our Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. Our Spanish classes celebrated that in our library. And typically families build altars in their homes or at cemeteries in honor of those who've lost. Spanish teachers Senora Buzzi, Senora PK, and Senora Mildekin built an altar in the high school library and invited Spanish students to participate by creating a frame after school for a picture of a deceased pet or loved one to add to the altar, and we had that throughout the month. We had our coffee house, the Art Literary Club. Mr. Romani happens to be here tonight too, who runs that with Mr. Calderon. That was a huge success. That's in the bottom left-hand corner. We have a huge turnout for those students. All types of art and performances go on in that time after school. We had a really wonderful multicultural dinner. That is kind of in between, right side middle, that on November 10th, huge turnout, lots of students, lots of families, tons of food, all the food left. There was none left over. I am going to put him on the spot. Mr. Martin, you want to come up here real quick? Since he's here, I'm going to have him speak real quick about another award that happened about 45 minutes ago down the road.
Hi everybody, how's it going? Mr. Romani here. So I came with Rob Burleson and Senator Sue Serino because they just presented 2 of our students with an award, and then we came here and they presented school with the award. So these are 2 projects if you look on the board. Lexi Stevens won first place, and Sophia Beeman won second place, but to me, they're both first place. I want to explain to you a little bit what you're seeing. Both those 2 pieces of artwork, a sculpture to your left and and a very large, almost actual size artwork of a dog, two-dimensional. We're done completely out of recycled materials. Okay, so the Department of Sanitation and Senator Serino's office puts together a contest. I think this is the second year they did it, and we swept for the high school categories in first and second place. The amplifier, the guitar, the foot pedal, and a miniature sculpture of the artists were all made. It took her about a month to make that out of completely recycled materials. And if you were able to look really closely at the dog, it's made out of completely cut out scraps. It's not paint, okay? It's like found a bunch of yellow things, found a bunch of blue things. There's plastic items in it. The tongue is made of shoelaces that they had to go. I talked to mom and dad. This was a family kind of thing. Like, what can we find for the dog? The dog is a dog they had that passed, and they missed the dog, and it's about this big. You know, it's not a small kind of thing. Both of these kids are part of the National Art Honor Society that I run, and they wholeheartedly put their heart and soul into this project. These two artworks are going to be on display at the Presidential Library, at the FDR Presidential Library in Hyde Park, I believe starting tomorrow for about 2 weeks, which is kind of a big deal because, you know, that library has been visited with people all around the world. And I'm very proud of them. They work really hard being the best they could be, and they are very passionate about making art and expressing themselves through it. So I think that's great. Coming up soon, to give fair warning, Mrs. Romani, my wife, and also the middle school art teacher, we donate. My wife spends from August to now making ceramic cups to sell. Some of you guys get the email. They sell out in 24 hours. I put a slideshow on, and I look at the thing the next day, and it's all sold out. The money that we raise, the same group, the National Art Honor Society students, we do portraits of students from around the world, of kids around the world. Generally, they're underprivileged kids, sometimes orphans in different countries. So the money goes to sending the portrait to the child to create a positive memory for the kid, because some of these kids in different countries that we send artwork to don't have digital cameras. Some of them never really seen an image of themselves until this project. And so there's administrative costs. It costs us a little bit to do it. So it's fully funded by the cup donations that you know we donated, and the kids help to make the beautiful art. Anyway, so a few things to look forward to in what we do, and a few word minutes. I always take longer. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everyone. It's a lot to celebrate. I'm proud to be a figurehead that represents this school, but it's really students and the staff that make it what it is, and I'm happy to be part of this. So thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to item 6.03. We have a presentation from our school lunch director.
I'm gonna do a little process now. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lisa French. I'm the Child Nutrition Director here in Spackenkill. I've been here for over 3 decades. I have to click and read at the same time. Tonight's menu is meant to give you a good start in understanding the nutrition department and how the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program operate. To condense this, prior to when school feeding programs were established, children would go home and have peanut butter and jelly and milk and take a 2-hour nap. Educators felt this time would be better used for education. However, the boards of education would not assist financially with funds dedicated to education.
So they approved the operation of school lunch as long as it remains self-supporting, which we still are. As you can see, we've come a long way in the meals we serve, from boiled cabbage and bread and jam. Funding. This gives you an idea on the minimal funding we receive, and while we're grateful to the governor for fighting to feed all children free meals in New York State, at this time, there is no additional funding. Currently, our participation has doubled from last year, and we anticipate it will continue to increase. As you can see, the total reimbursement for a lunch is $46, and after covering health insurance for employees, labor and food purchases and supplies, we are left with just around $2.90 to make a meal. So I ask you, where can we go eat lunch tomorrow for $2.90? Putting together a meal. Whoops. In addition to being sparsely funded, the State Education Department requires us to follow strict guidelines in order to receive funding. Guidelines include serving a 5-component meal, completing a nutritional analysis of the menu, creating and implementing standardized recipes, and keeping daily production records, which tracks participation, compliance, waste, and portion control. The menus are created using a nutritional software approved by the State Education Department, which accurately calculate fat, sodium, vitamins, and nutrients. In 2010, the Hungry Free Kid Act was established, and some of the provisions included creating menus with low sodium, no trans fats, whole grains, and low fat. This also forced vendors that provided school lunch foods to recreate their product to meet the new requirements. Smart Snacks was enacted shortly after the Hungry Kid Act and requires programs to enter snack food labels into a calculator for approval on the requirements to limit fat, calories, sodium, and sugar. So fun fact, our snacks have a different label than the supermarket version. For example, our Doritos are whole grain rich and have been reduced in the requirements accordingly. This is an example of the changes vendors had to make to the original versions of their foods to accommodate the mandate. Offer versus Serve is the name of the program. You can see that the 5 components are whole grain, fruits, vegetable, milk, and protein. We must offer 5 components listed above. Students must take a minimum of 3 to complete a meal, and for us to receive funding. If a student does not take the required component, the meal becomes a la carte. What does that mean? Let's take Pizza Day, for example. If a student wants just a slice of pizza, there is no funding for that meal because it does not meet the requirement. Therefore, it is not free and chargeable. Federal commodities. Years after feeding programs were approved for public schools, the government contracted with nationwide farmers to supply and supplement the feeding programs. Food was offered to schools at $1 per case to offset the struggling budgets. Some of those current foods are listed here. Our current allowance for commodity foods is $67,800. That number is calculated by the Office of Government Services based on the lunches we served in the prior year. So that money right now is for last year's lunch service. And it will increase. Getting creative. As you can see, we must get creative with the food surplus to provide a variety of meal options. Some uses include the ground beef is made into tacos, meat sauce, chili, and meatballs. Chicken strips are used for fajitas and quesadillas. The cheeses are used in tacos and salads. Fruits for crisps and turnovers. A few years ago, we discovered this fluffy, fakey puff pastry, which, as you can see, we use to make some fun and delicious lunches down there on the right-hand side. Some of our top sellers are listed, and what's important to understand is that we are here and dedicated to student taste. Creating a meal that is pleasing to students while meeting funding requirements is always the main focus. It's generational foods. While not uncommon for folks to compare school menus, let's remember that they aren't always better, just different. Food is a very personal subject. It brings us together in celebration and love. It can also create tension as we sort through our own personal opinions of what a good food versus a bad food is. In addition to my formal education, I am a master sanitation instructor. I teach ServSafe to Spack-and-Kill food service staff. Equally important is the staff in their charge to keep students safe and nourished. Staff are required to attend annual sanitation training, successfully pass all health department inspections, keep multiple records for inspection by the state education department, and they are trained in civil rights and are registered civil service employees. We're also proud that 70 to 80% of our staff are Spack-and-Kill community members. For the past 3 decades, we have successfully passed all of our annual local health inspections, state education child nutrition audits, and internal New York State school audits. We are required to provide special accommodations for students with medical documentation of allergy-related dietary restrictions. Parental restrictions are also accommodated. Parents can place personal restrictions on their child's account at any time. In addition to serving nutritious meals, there is a heavy concentration on safety, storing, preparing, cooking, and serving. Food can be a dangerous task if not properly executed. Every aspect of food service, from purchase to plate, is documented accordingly. Not only do we believe farm fresh is best, but we support our farms by purchasing locally. Our produce supplier is located in the Black Dirt region of Orange County. Farmers in that area participate in a local exchange with other farms. We offer multiple green and red fresh vegetables weekly. We also have a variety of fresh fruit choices. We also have introduced legumes to students in the form of homemade soups. We are part of a county-wide directors group that contributes to buying and bidding. We share recipes and recommendations, and we are mandated to buy American. Some of our breakfast includes warm jumbo muffins, whole grain breakfast rounds made of oats and cinnamon, a variety of cereal bowls, and cinnamon toasted bagels. All of the breakfasts come with low-fat string cheese, milk, and fresh fruit. A while after national school lunch programs were developed, breakfast programs were started. With exception to low-income areas, it took a while for them to take off because breakfast was still a family gathering, if you will. Today, we see an increase in participation for this program as well. I think it's important to note that, as you can see on the left, we offer 10 lunch choices a day and 9 on the elementary level. On the right are a few of our lunches we currently serve on our menu. Every lunch comes with fresh fruit and vegetables and milk. That's the 5 components that we presented in the last few slides. These are actual pictures of our food choices taken over a few weeks. In the upper left, a fresh beet and apple salad, our fruit and yogurt parfaits, fresh garden salads with grilled chicken. You can also get it with cheese, roasted butternut squash, triple decker peanut butter and jelly, and apple turnovers. In the upper left corner, that's the puff pastry we talked about. During past conversations with middle schoolers, one suggestion was to serve Hot Pockets. This is our homemade version of a Hot Pocket. On the bottom right, that's our homemade hummus. This lunch was originally created as a vegetarian option. Now it's popular and we serve it on a whole grain wrap. Fresh baby spinach, monthly. Beautiful seasoned pears, and roast chicken and rice pilaf. In an effort to continuously improve school lunch choices, we are looking at adding additional salads and soups, increasing seasonal themes, and we've already listed the daily fruit and vegetable and a la carte prices on the menu. We would also like to include a frequently asked question section on the food service website. We hope to include additional subsidies to the program. We will continue to submit the annual 30% New York initiative. We'll definitely have to look at staff since our participation is increasing. And we're exploring tech options such as the meal viewer to display menus online, which would break down the caloric and nutritional analysis of food. I recently met with student government and I hope they will welcome me back for further discussion. I also circulate throughout the district cafeterias and find that students are not shy in expressing their opinions on what they want for lunch. Typical responses are burgers and fries, pizza, chicken fingers and tacos, and General Tso's chicken. Thank you for having me. I hope you will come away from this presentation with a little more knowledge on the operation of school lunch, and I welcome your questions. Who wants to go first?
Got a quick question. I appreciate the presentation and all the details. Certainly a much bigger and more detailed picture of school lunch than I ever had. And I had 4 children go through this dining kill thing. It's come a long way since my
Since
children.
boiled cabbage?
Yes, right. Yeah, one of those days. Now that everyone has access to this food, do you have a rough sense of how many of the students percentage-wise, actually eat the lunch provided by the school versus bringing their own lunches?
Right now, we're
home?
serving close to 1,000. I believe our enrollment is about 14, 15.
Yeah, so 2/3.
We do expect that to increase. Typically, we're in a provision 2 at this point. We're not a CEP yet. We will be next year, hopefully, if we can continue to have the universal feeding. The number can...
Yeah, those terms.
We're provision 2, which means we're the newbies. It's our first trip around the block of having universal feeding, opposed to the schools who currently have CEP. They've been feeding for quite some time. We have to have a 1-year buffer. And the state education department does that because our community and families who rely on benefits after school, summer benefits, they have to calculate that somehow through the provision 2. So we're almost serving lunch and receiving lunch applications the same way we originally did. Oh, is that it? Next year, we won't take any applications, and we won't be able to track our families that require assistance in the summer. So they give us a year buffer. So we have less than when we are a permanent free program. Is that helpful information? Is that
Yeah. You're in a sort of a transition.
We're in a transition. We're called provision 2 rather than a CEP.
Thanks.
Sure.
Just by clarification, by free, you're speaking about a reimbursement that we get? Is that accurate? Or?
Yes, all of our meals, if the components are correct, are reimbursable on a free level. Right.
And that's a federal and state money?
Combined.
Mainly federal?
Federal and state combined.
So with a student having to take 3 components in order for it to be reimbursable, do we know how many of those students eat all 3 components or how much is wasted?
We don't know how much they eat, and there's probably a waste. Absolutely. The state has their own picture of how to feed kids. And when we first started with the mandate of one of those three components had to be a vegetable and fruit. Originally, a student could take a pizza and a chocolate milk, and that would be a grain, a protein, and their milk, and go out the door. 8 years ago, the state changed that and said one of the components had to be a fruit and vegetable. So the custodians conveniently set up garbage pails outside because the students would come out and just throw that out. So we sort of encourage, I bring in different fruits, you know, that are more exciting than others and try to encourage them, but there is waste.
And do we know how many students take only one item?
They have to take all three. You need one.
So they're required to. You do not even give an option to take just one.
There's 5 components, they have to take 3. One of those 3 has to be a fruit and vegetable. So
Right.
they could actually take a pear, a salad, and a chocolate milk, and that would meet a meal.
Right. But
So-
you're requiring they take 3. Like someone can't walk in and go, no, I don't care, I don't want the 3, I'll just take the 1 and the milk and call it a day.
Right, then they would go to an a la carte and have to pay.
Right. And they're told this, right? So like they know that they have to take 3 in order to do that, or otherwise they pay. Okay.
And I think you asked the percentage of that. Did you originally ask what the percentage of that
Like
was?
waste.
Waste?
Yeah.
It's getting less, but it's there.
Okay. And is there a reason we use farms out in, was it Orange or Ulster?
In the Black Dirt region?
Yeah.
Well, I did at one time use Fishkill. I'm sorry, it was Beacon. We had it. They had their, as you know, when you buy from a farm, the fruit is not perfect and shiny and beautiful. And we had fruit that was not shiny and beautiful. And we tried to encourage it as the ugly fruit program. Because, you know, ugly fruit has to have a home too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's much more delicious than the perfect fruit. But it didn't quite work out, and I was asked not to have ugly fruit. Fishkill Farms, Fishkill Farms are, I think, just about 1.5 times more than my current local farmer in Orange. And they do a farmer interchange. Yeah, they do Marlboro, and you know, they have an interchange. So if farmer A doesn't have an apple, they get it from farmer B, and then my delivery comes and is billed through my produce vendor from their farm exchange.
Okay.
So we have, your original question, we have used more local farmers.
Okay.
The Fishkill and Beacon ones.
Okay. Because I believe 50% of Dutchess County farmers lost money this past year.
Yeah.
So just wondering if we don't reach out to any of them. You
Well,
know,
I'd love
at
to bring
certain
ugly
times.
fruit in, again. You know, there's a real thing called ugly fruit, and it's delicious and nutritious. It was just picked off the tree rather than the Washington apple that's been sitting on the truck for 2 weeks. So, but it's not, there's a visual, it's
Right.
not appealing visually. And so to compete with that, it's difficult.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
First, thank you very much for the presentation coming here tonight and doing this, taking the time to do it, putting all of that together. That's quite a process to go through. It's very detailed. I really applaud you for what seemed like an impossible task to come up with good meals, not only nutritionally, but something that the kids will like, with the heavy restrictions that you have and the budget that you have to work with on it, that not only the state gives you, or the feds give you, the district gives you, and it doesn't seem like it's an easy task or even an impossible task to see how you manage to put together a menu for it. I do like some of the initiatives that, exploring the new ideas, 30% New York State initiative. I've seen a lot of the schools around. You said you guys are in communication with other districts around here and menu exchanges, stuff like that?
Yeah, I belong to a countywide, there's 45 of us.
Okay.
And we sort of get in a group and, first we complain, and then we eat, and then we share our, what's happening, what was successful, what wasn't. Oh my goodness, the kids love this, or oh, they turned that down. And in fact, I did steal the puff pastry from another district several years ago, because we steal ideas and we interchange. And we also, not that that's not important, but equally as important is we all collectively create our bids. And what that means is we have a Dutchess County cooperative bidding system, and we determine, okay, look, we want chicken tenders, and we don't want the dark meat, we want the white meat. So we put together what product we want to serve to our students, and that forms a bid. And then
There's 40 other schools or other districts?
Pardon me?
It's 40 other schools or other districts?
There's 40 in our group, and there's, I believe, 27 that are part of the cooperative bid. Now, they don't have to. I know that Wappingers opts out of doing some of the cooperative bidding. We can do our own private bidding, and I have done that in my tenure here, but we get a better price by going cooperative. So there's 27 in the bidding. Not all participate. They might look and say, hey, I'm going to deal with my guy. But collectively, we put the bids together. We put the product together. We put the specs together. We send it out to the vendor. They bid it out, and then they're awarded. It's a long process. In fact, it's beginning in the end of January and February for the following school year.
Do you know how many, if any, are doing the 30% New York State initiative?
Yeah, you have to be really, really low. Although we're there. In fact, we almost qualified for the CEP prior to the governor suddenly saying free meals. So we might make it next year on the 30% initiative. 45 to 50%.
And what is that? That just means that you have to get 30% of your products from New York City?
Yeah.
And there's some kind of a discounted price when you do that?
Yes.
And not every district qualifies for that?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I know you say every district has a different menu. It's not necessarily better, it's just different. But, I have gone through a lot of them, and they have a lot of different offerings. And I see, actually the rice pilaf one, my kids came home and ranted and raved how great the chicken was and the rice was that day, and they were excited to see that stuff again. So I like that you're trying to make some new changes to the menu and trying to make some adjustments to it. You have my support 100% of whatever you need. I know that
Wait a minute, he just said whatever I need. Everybody heard that, right?
Fine. I can't speak for everyone. I would really love to say that I could give you whatever possible. Because it really, I think it is an important thing that we do here is some kids this might be the best meal that they get. But regardless, just getting a nutritional good meal every day that the kids want to come in and eat and sit around and talk with each other and enjoy together is a big thing. One thing I did like that I saw in another school, I'll just throw it out there, was, I don't remember which school it was, it might have been Pauling or it might have been Redwood. It was kind of like what they were doing tonight at the middle school here, where they have a cultural meal once a month. I know that just throws more on you to have to figure out, but there was, they'll have one meal a month that is a different culture, whether it was a Greek food or an Indian food or a Jamaican food, just to let all the kids try something different, whether they ever get to experience it again or not, or they find that they really love it and maybe go home and talk about it. And,
sure,
like that.
Absolutely. I like that idea. I'm going to steal it.
Well, I stole it, so fair.
We actually used to have different themes, if you will. We had to get away from a few of them. Some of them were religious orientated, so we had to be careful on that. But no, I would love to do that. Greek?
I like the meal viewer as well. I think that's something to really look into. And, us doing that. I think that's a big thing for the parents to be able to see what their kids are going to go in and eat each day, not just be that Google image of it, but as you've done here, actually taking the images of what you're creating in your kitchens.
Yes.
And letting the family see this is what your kids are going to come eat today.
That's a definite. We're working on that, the meal viewer.
Right.
And I think it's important. My meeting with the high school student government, they recommended and suggested we do that, so we still don't do that. Yeah, look for that in the next, probably in the new year.
I just like pulled up the menus and I noticed like the menu for all the schools are the same. Now I know you talked about like generational food and like how like people like the same things, but I don't know if like the palate of a kindergartner is the same as a senior in high school. Is there a way to do different things at different schools for the same day, or do you try to keep it the same for a reason?
They are the same this month, but often they are not. Like a spagel. Do you know what a spagel is? Have you had it? Or have you seen it? You probably haven't had it because you eat salads. A spagel was created, a Spack and Kill bagel. Did you create that? Okay. Maybe, I think Scott Sanford probably created that. And we won't serve that in Nassau because the kindergartners, you know, some of them don't have any teeth. You know, they're losing their teeth, so they can't bite on the bagel. And the breakfast bagels we serve are mini ones for them. So we do change out, you know, for different, these menus are the same, but we do change out for the elementary. In fact, it was different, I believe, in September.
So my daughter raved about the sandwich today, a sandwich with ham or whatever she came
Jenna
out
was
with.
salami.
Yeah, she was like, it was so good. I was just like, okay, so kudos to you for.
Yeah, that was on November football theme. Yeah, a 6-foot sub only, it's really a 3-foot sub because you can't fit it on. And we did serve it with some chips. Oh, Mr. Doherty's not here. Oh, yeah, there you are. You're going to come and cook for me tomorrow, right? Because you know I'm sure to cook, so. Thank you for that, yeah.
Quick question on that sub, actually, because my son mentioned it today.
Yeah.
But he was hesitant to take it because he has a tree nut allergy. And
excuse me.
Historically, you know, there's some sort of a meat that has pistachios in it. So we can't ever just go to a regular deli and have them slice meat and then take it. So I asked him, I said, did you know who to ask about potential allergy and information on that? And he didn't know, but it'd be nice if we could, when you have those types of things, if there's a way to make sure that the students are aware of the allergies. And, you know, I know that you guys have a very good handle on who has allergies, but for that one, particularly, that's not like your normal, you wouldn't think about it, but we do all the time, unfortunately. You know?
The cook will always know if there's something in what she's serving that someone with an allergy can't have. And do you know how our point of sale system works? We have the computerized system where students plug in their personal IDs, and before they can do anything, a big box appears, and it immediately states any allergy that a student may have. And a cashier cannot complete a meal and get a reimbursement before she reads that out and agrees to it. And so she has to identify the lunch and make sure that there's nothing on there. My staff are trained in this, and only then can she dismiss the box. Oh, and also in that box is, you don't want your son to buy chips, or a parent doesn't want their child to have 3 slices of pizza. So everything that we want to know about the student is in that box. It's a very, very important tool.
And do you guys consider the things like I just mentioned?
Yeah, now the meal viewer,
equipment?
the reason why we are choosing the meal viewer is because that too will give allergy related information. It'll be extensive, so it'll give the nutritional analysis and anything that's, in fact, we have a student who should not have had the sandwich today that had a sesame allergy. Anything that comes from the bakery, Rockland Bakery, fantastic bakery, Rockland Bakery, they cannot guarantee that there isn't a sesame or a poppy. So students that have those allergies cannot have any bread from the bakery because we can't be guaranteed. So that'll be listed in what we're creating in the next year's cycle of the meal viewer. Thank you for asking that.
You mentioned some potential budget adjustments. You know, I think historically, since I've been on the board, we've had support in terms of making sure that you have staff and some improved equipment. That was an issue recently. I would say I do appreciate the improvements in the menu as well, as Jeff was mentioning. like to continue to see that development. It's no mystery to the folks at the table around me that I've wanted to have a better program in terms of maybe some of that farm fresh, farm to table type of thoughts. And it even mentioned about the students using that as an educational component as well, because the ag industry is really under some massive attrition. And Joanne just mentioned about Dutchess County farmers and the struggles that they have. And I think that there's not really that appreciation for where the food that we eat comes from. And I think if we can incorporate that into our program with the food and kind of, whether it's even field trips over to some of the farms or whatever, the black dirt farms or Marlboro or wherever that comes from. I think it would be a nice component to consider.
I can work with the principals on that, and I'm not sure if you know that for many years, Mr. Doherty, could you tell me the name of the classroom that we had? Mrs. Rogers' class.
Mrs. Rogers, and, yep, Mrs. Rogers.
Mrs. Rogers' class, it has part of the greenhouse and her own greenhouse in her room, and they grow a variety of herbs, and I would go in and speak to the students on their herbs, and then I would take them and use them in the menu, and then I would put on the menu Paul's basil is in the tomato sauce today, and we would make a menu, and the kids just were so excited that the herbs they grew were in our menu. But unfortunately, Mrs. Rogers changed her student class. And so I understand what you're asking, and absolutely. Yeah.
Is there an opportunity for students that are interested in culinary to volunteer or work in the cafeteria?
We have students, graduating students working for us right now. And by the way, we also have money for students to go to college. We have a grant. Our directors group supplies a grant for any student who wants to use it in the culinary area. So yeah, absolutely.
The 10 items that you mentioned, those were always available in all the buildings, or is that more of the high school?
10 items in the high school, 9 in the elementary. The item that's missing is the yogurt parfait. The yogurt has to be a certain amount of fluid to meet the protein in the specs, in the requirements rather. So the cup is literally 20 ounces. So while the kindergartners, the visual of that, like, oh gosh, it looks like an ice cream sundae, the strawberry, they would take 2 spoons and it would waste, and then they would come in hungry wanting something else. So we found it was better not to have the yogurt parfait. So 10 items in the high school, 9 in the elementary. Every day, all day, free. All of them include the fruit and vegetable.
Assuming they take the 3.
Assuming they take the 3.
I may have missed what you had mentioned. You said we're close to meeting the 30%?
I'm sorry.
You said we're close to meeting
Yes.
that 30%?
Last year we were so close, and then I just breathed a sigh and said maybe next year, and then our governor was like, yeah, universal feeding. 28 and a half? Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's sort of a bittersweet because our culture is changing in the district, and we have more of a need.
There's times that by the end of the lunch day, the last period that's coming in, some of the 10 options may no longer be available. Is that, what is there that we can do to try to make sure that if somebody walks in and they want a turkey sandwich, all the turkey sandwiches that we eat for the day?
I don't support that. What the first student gets, the last student should get. And my staff know simple things. Of course, if it's something complicated, but nothing's really complicated, that they will step aside and make the turkey sandwich. So that should always be the case. Of course, there could be circumstances where it's not. A salad is easy to throw together because we try to stay ahead. So the salads are all washed and ready for tomorrow, so there's no reason to not pull it and make a salad. Or the sliced turkey is ready for tomorrow, pull it and make a sandwich. So my position is that whatever the first student has, the last student should have.
Just to touch on what Dan had said about the farm to table stuff. I don't know, Pine Plains being a very agricultural district, I mean, they have an entire ag week that they just celebrate agriculture and have, you know, pigs and cows and stuff on their school, and in their barn, they have their own barn there, and it's quite the production. But looking at theirs, they have a lot, and I want to say they, not to speak badly, but you know, they probably are one of the more impoverished districts in the district, and I think they have one of the best menus in the district, changing every. I don't know if they have the same thing in 1 month on their menus, and that was really the one that had gotten me was looking at Pine Plains and you know they're obviously ones that have the New York 30% because they put New York in front of all the options that are part of that New York 30% one, but they really have a robust menu option for their students every single day, and that's really what I love. And they have some of the same stuff as we do as well.
Sure.
I mean, they have the Bosco sticks, they have the sticks, but they do the orange chicken salads or the the meatball subs or the ranch smash burgers, Alfredos, and they just have a lot of different.
Are you
things
reading
on
the
their
menu?
menus. I am.
Can
yes,
you
I
send
am.
it to me?
Oh yeah.
Excuse me.
But yeah, they have
Send
a
it
lot
to my
of-
email so I can look at it. And
Yeah,
I'll take a look at it.
absolutely. Is that one of the ones that is in your 40 people group? Your 40
Pine Plains?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Pine bushes, not pine.
Okay.
But
so
I have no
Pine-
problem, none of us have a problem with calling one another up and saying, hey, what's happening here? What are you using? What's it costing you? Absolutely, sure. So I'll look for that in my email tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa, and you've asked people all the time.
You bet.
Okay, item 7.01 is board correspondence. We have an email we've addressed many times, and we also have an email with regard to a student matter that is being handled by the administration. 7.02, comments from the public on non-agenda items. Do we have any public comment on non-agenda items?
I have a comment.
Okay. Just state your name and address, if you will, please.
I'm not gonna give my address, I'll state my name. Hello, good evening, everyone. Hi, Ms. Mulford. Most of you guys probably know who I am already. I am a parent of a student from Hagen Elementary School. Unfortunately, I'm not here to celebrate accolades and things like that, which you guys were able to celebrate today. I'm here with something different. My child is a student at Hagen Elementary School, and he has major anxiety about returning to school right now. Unfortunately, there is a teacher in the school whose name I can't mention, who felt that it was appropriate to put her hands on my child. Yes.
We do have certain rules
Okay.
with regard to the discussions that we're allowed to have in the public format.
Mhm.
Personnel and student matters are not allowed to be discussed in public format. So what I can offer to you
I can barely hear you. Can you put the little mic thing on, please?
is terrible.
What I could offer to do is, if you'd like, you can come up here and I can take your phone number and your email address, and then I can help try to facilitate a meeting with the appropriate personnel that can handle the issue with you.
Okay, so we already informed the principal that we would be here. That's why I'm sure you guys knew that I was gonna come because I've already did that. I was never notified that this was not something that could be discussed. I was told that I cannot name names, which is what I'm doing. I'm not naming any names in regards to, but I've never seen any rules or anything that states that I can't discuss what has taken place. So if I can continue to say what it is that I need to say about the situation, then I'll be good.
I suppose I have to normally ask a, legal opinion on that, because if it is still content with regard to specific students and.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't name a name of the student, nor did I name the teacher, but I would like to make everyone here aware of what is taking place in the school.
We will be, if you go through the avenues of going through the principal and ultimately potentially with the superintendent, he will inform us of how those discussions went. Again, I'm sorry that is the rules of the public hearings and that we don't discuss students.
Do you have paperwork showing that? Because like I said before, I would not have been here right now if I was informed that earlier. I did make them aware that I would be here, and they said that they would notify everyone that I would be here. So I'm just a little thrown off that I'm here now and I'm being told something different.
I don't.
It can also be talked to another time. He said nothing tomorrow, and we call.
I don't think anything is gonna make it better other than me saying what I need to say right now, because it's kind of a big deal. And there's so many other ways I could have went about handling the situation, as I know other people would have if it was their child, but I just wanted to say what I needed to say and say that I am very disgusted with what has taken place. My child has major anxiety about going to school. My son has an IEP. This is a special education teacher who we're dealing with this situation. She has humiliated him in front of class.
Since you're here, I mean, I could meet with you when the meeting's over, and that'll help you with small office also there.
I've already spoken to Dr. Mulford. Mm-hmm.
So the next avenue is Dr. Finn.
Okay.
And I'd appreciate it if you would just follow through with that,
Mhm.
and we will be informed of how that discussion goes.
Okay, but do you have paperwork that says that I cannot discuss that right here?
It's in the policy.
It's in policy, and it's also within the, just trying to find.
Because again, I would not be here. I've already discussed it with the principal, and he knew that I would be here today to discuss it. So if it was in the policy, it would have been very good to have it brought to my attention at that point in time and not have to be here right now. Well, I've given a lot of grace as it pertains to the situation, an extreme amount of grace to the point to where things have occurred over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I do not have a policy from me, so I apologize for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can get that for you as well. I can get that for you.
Okay.
Our board clerk is saying that she can find that.
Okay. I would have preferred to just do it here with you guys, but there's other avenues to get the information out. So thank you so much for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And I'll say after if you want to.
No, thank you. I'll talk to you at another time.
Would you like me to reach out to you tomorrow, or you would reach out to me?
The process is gonna be, we're gonna follow through everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'll wait for your contact.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you.
Right.
Do we have any other public comment on non-agenda items? Okay, we'll go to 7.03, comments from the board. Board comments?
I'd like to say thank you for putting together Val and everybody having this French come in and speak with us. That was a lot of information and it's really informative. Thank you for it. Congratulations on the ribbon. It's great stuff. And yeah, again, thank you. Appreciate you following up with us on this.
I'll just add too, it's been said multiple times, but we appreciate the work that the whole administrative team has done. And working toward this really signature achievement. Very proud of the district, and very appreciative of all the work that's gone into this. Because, yeah, we only see the tip of the iceberg here, but a lot of work I know has gone into this. So pretty appreciative to Lori, Sandra, John, Paul. So very proud. Married to, just married to all the writing, right? Not least at all. All the writing.
Anyone else? Okay, with that, I'll turn it over to 7.04, comments from our superintendent.
I'm glad we did have that. I know Jeff had mentioned the school lunch in the summertime, and we did have a little detour, but we did get to it, so I was glad that we were able to have the full discussion. Thought it was good. There's a lot of stuff I learned through the process too, that we needed to. So grateful for that. Just a quick comment. I mean, Matt and Sarah here, but just awesome feeling with winning that award. Ken, just get on the job immediately. You were part of it. You were there the whole time for both awards. Just thank you for that. And just we're not here, but thank you to Senator Serino and County Executive Serino and Senator Ross for coming. I was very appreciative when he said how they only get a few of those. He chose to try one for us to actually go through the legislature. So that was definitely pretty cool. I was privileged. I was the principal in 2007 when we dedicated the library to Senator Allison's father. Meeting him was very special for me because he was very heavily involved with the high school. He did pass soon thereafter, so it was a nice satisfaction that we were able to dedicate the library for him. He was able to be there. I remember he was a wheelchair, so we were put him up there. He was a whippersnapper. He was very alert and meeting him. So that was I'm glad he brought that up. But also just thank you to Dan for the World Language Dinner today. That was pretty cool seeing everyone, and they had team shirts. I don't know if you ever noticed that. They had all the foreign language teachers wore the same shirt. I think we got a picture of it. It was actually perfect timing, so the board could actually come in and see that a little bit. Probably couldn't eat because we had a meeting, but maybe next time be able to do that. So thank you for that, and Ken, Sarah, thank you for the presentation.
How'd you get all those students to come? That was terrific.
Very appreciative. He was worried this morning when we were at a professional development. He goes, I don't know how many students are coming. I said, but I know Claire will be there.
That was a very good turnout.
Nice to see.
That was what we were hoping for, and I appreciated that.
That's great. Okay, thank you. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. We'll see you next time.